Traditionally, house sharing, that is living with friends or housemates who may be relative or even total strangers, has been associated with students and people in their 20s. However, in recent years in the UK, there have been big increases in the number of people over 30 who are living in house shares. Indeed, between 2009 and 2014, there was an almost 200% increase in the number of 35 to 44-year-olds living in house shares. However, despite these increases, there's been almost no research into what the psychological impact of living in a house share might be, especially at older ages. And this, to me, seemed like an important gap, because we know that housing can impact well-being, with, for example, renters being shown to have consistently lower psychological well-being than homeowners. Therefore, I conducted 20 interviews, all with people who were over 30 and living in house shares. And just to kind of find out a bit more about their experiences, really. And a major theme that came out of the interviews was that if you're living in a house share, you cannot have total control over your living environment. If you've got housemates, you can't just do what you want when you want. You might have to wait to use the bathroom or the kitchen, or your housemates might have friends over when you just want a quiet evening in. And this lack of control can make it hard to feel at home. It can also lead to conflict at times. Indeed, some participants had lived with housemates that they didn't get on with, or in the worst cases, that made them feel unsafe. And in all cases, negative relationships with housemates made it basically impossible to feel at home. And participants reported feeling stressed, anxious, and depressed living in such situations. However, some participants had really positive experiences of living in house shares. They enjoyed spending time with their housemates, and some even felt like their house share was like a little family. And in these positive situations, the sense of community that people experienced did enable them to feel at home despite the lack of control over their living environment. Therefore, house sharing can have a negative impact on well-being, but it doesn't have to. And indeed, for some, it offered real benefits in terms of companionship and support. As you can see from the headlines on the slide, the kind of popular narrative about sharing, especially at older ages, it portrays it as a negative thing. But by recognizing that people can have positive experiences, and some people are actively choosing to share, we can all help to dismantle the stigma that house sharers still experience today.